This is Abnormal Entertainment.
2, 3, 4. Walked into the tunnel just to find the light. Hunted for old demons, looking for a fight. Looked up at the stars, seemed to go forever. There must be a way, it all fits together. Fell into the quicksand, held on to the vines. Never could quite color, stay within the lines. Feels like I have wings, I can fly wherever. This is just a way, it all fits together. Finally saw the world through rose-colored glasses. Gonna share my journey to small and large masses. Give up on my life, no sir, me never. This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together.
Hey everybody, welcome. This is Daniel Garza, and this is another episode of Put It Together. I'd like to start as usual thanking my producer, Mr. Kevin Moyers, for all his help and support. Thank you, sir. Inviting all of you to check us out at abnormalentertainment.com, where you can find all the shows on the network. Be sure to like my page on Facebook, Put It Together Podcast. We can get information on all my guests, not just what they're doing now, but what they did in the past, videos, information, all kinds of stuff. Go check it out. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So go check out Daniel G. Garza on all those social sites and follow us along. Today, I am very excited. I'm fanning out a little bit. I've been trying to keep it cool in the pre-interview. I have Josh Daugherty with me.
You gotta say it right, Daniel. It's Daugherty, but
Daugherty,
everybody
Daugherty
gets it wrong. It's one of those Irish names that like somebody had a few too many drinks and was like, let's add a G and an H and really fuck with people. So
I just messed it up, and
that's all right. It happens.
And okay, I'll just say Josh. For me, that white guy that you're like, who is that? Who is that?
Is that Aaron Paul? No, it's not Aaron Paul.
It's like, I've seen him in something.
Yeah.
Is he the dead guy in that one show? Yes, probably he is.
Yes, probably.
He has an extensive IMDb record. I am really now fanning out. Now that we're actually recording this, I'm having a like, oh my God moment. It's Josh. I'll let them know ahead of time. I stalked you for quite a bit, and for those of you who are regular listeners, you know that I do stalk my guest. If I'm fixated on somebody, I will like, don't let me get your phone number, or don't let me get a direct email.
It's so funny. I wish I had that. Like I'm the ADD poster child, so I'll stalk something for about 5 seconds, and then I'll be like, oh, hey, look at that. And I'm off to something else. So the fact that you have the ability to focus like that is awesome. I wish I had that.
Well, I was telling you in the pre-interview, like when you're a one-man pre-production team, you've got to take on everything.
Yeah.
But I recognized you. Like I've seen you through the years.
Sure.
On different stuff. And then I kind of lost track of where you were. Then I saw the Razor brand commercial we were just talking about. And you're fishing with this girl, and I'm like, oh my God, there he is. That's him.
That guy again.
Who is that guy? And for those of you that don't know, there is a website called Who Is It?, where you can go in and type in who is the guy in such commercial.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who's the guy in this commercial? And
wow.
It'll bring up the commercial video, and then if somebody's registered you or you have registered yourself into there, it'll bring up your name and say, this is the person in the commercial.
I'm going to have to stalk myself now.
Yeah. That's how I find a lot of people. Some guys that I've had on the show are like, how did you find me? I'm like, well, I saw this commercial and you were next to the main guy and you made this face and it made me laugh. And I thought,
that's really cool. Well, look, I've been so involved in the commercial scene for so long that, if there's somebody you want to get in touch with, I can probably get you in touch with them. So just
oh, Josh, never say that to a podcaster. Jeez. But welcome to the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This is very cool. I'm glad we're able to do this.
Then as I was telling you, we were at a show last night, and I'm at the show still like, okay, what time tomorrow? Yes, okay, 8:00 in the morning. I will be awake. I got this. And then he texted me this morning. He's like, I don't have the link. I'm like, damn it, it didn't go. I'm running.
It happens. It happens.
But you're in Atlanta.
Yeah. Just moved out here.
Yeah, and congratulations on the move.
Thank you. We love it. I'll tell you, we found this house in this little pocket. It's about 20 minutes from everywhere we need to be. And we're up against this green belt where nobody can build. So aside from the occasional airplane, all I can hear are cicadas and birds. And it's like the most peaceful place. And the culture here is great. I mean, it's so diverse and everybody's just been so warm and so welcoming and so kind. I was texting with a friend yesterday and saying how I'm a little bit pissed off at the West Coast because I really grew up with this kind of jaundiced view of the South. This idea that, everywhere you look, there's going to be white pointy hats and crosses burning and all that kind of stuff. And it's so not the case. Now, of course, we're in Atlanta, so it's much more diverse. It's much more open. People are not as afraid as folks are sometimes on the outside of, on the outskirts, but it's been great, man. We're thrilled to be here.
Well, so. I'm kind of disappointed. I thought if I ever come visit, I want the tour of the famous pointy hat people.
I don't. Keep them wherever they live. I like my distance,
They're like, if you see to the right, in 1975, 3 crosses were born on that.
Oh God.
On that lawn. No, but for folks that are listening and for the folks that are watching on YouTube, other than them thinking, who is that guy? Tell them, who are you? What guy are you?
All right. So my name's Josh Daugherty. I was born and raised in Eugene, Oregon. I'm a big Oregon Ducks fan. Grew up doing musical theater, a lot of singing. I was a vocal jazz major for my 10 minutes in college. Sang with the Colorado Symphony, all that sort of thing. Music's been a big part of my life. But in 98, I moved to LA and started really pursuing my on-camera career. A lot of commercials. Thank God for commercials. They've been an incredible blessing. Done a lot of TV and a handful of movies. Actually, I just had a movie come out called Custody Road. Mm-hmm. Getting some really good reviews. That's been a lot of fun. As an artist, you never really know how the work you do affects other people. So now with this digital age, everybody gets to put up a review online, and when you get to read those reviews, it can be really gratifying. So, I've been doing the Hollywood thing for a little over 20 years, and I'm that guy that you've seen in a lot of different commercials and a lot of different TV shows, and I'm what you would just call like your journeyman working actor, and very grateful to be so.
Well, for people, I'm going to go back a little bit on your IMDb before we get all full into your story, right. Because you were in Providence, which was one of my favorite shows of all time.
Really?
Yes, I wanted to be part of the Abbott family. I mean, I'm not the Abbott family. What was her last name? Yeah, the last time
it's been a while.
Yeah. So,
So
I wanted to be in Providence. I still have the dream of going there one day.
that's cool.
You were, you've done episode stuff on NCIS,
Yeah.
Judging Amy, another one of my favorite shows ever.
Let me tell you, Amy Brenneman's awesome too. She was just lovely. And Richard, I believe, what was his name? I can see his face. He was great. Richard T. Jones, I believe, right? Great cast, great crew, just so warm and so welcoming. Really, really fun.
Richard T. Jones, who played her assistant. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then, for those of you of my generation, he was on an episode of Charmed and CSI, Ghost Whisperer, another one of my favorite shows. Dexter, Supernatural. Where are we out here? Castle, of course. Castle. Who doesn't love Castle?
That's a really fun show to work on because Nathan. Let me tell you, Nathan Fillion and Stana Katic are two of the most grounded people I've ever worked with. You know, let me tell you, Daniel, as an actor, when you work on one of these shows, you know, maybe you get a day of work. Maybe you get to work for an entire week straight. But you always kind of come into these shows feeling like you're the guest, right? Like it's their home.
Right.
You're the person who's there just for lunch, just for dinner, what have you. And then they go on and they keep that family keeps working together. Some shows are much more welcoming than others, and Nathan Fillion and Stana Katic, I love them both dearly. Nathan and I talked all day long, and Stana was just, you expect a woman who's so beautiful to be a little bit standoffish, and she was as warm as you could possibly hope. I mean, they were just great. I left that set just feeling like I had made two really good friends.
Okay, so let's Hollywood gossip for a little before we get into your story.
All right.
So not true that they didn't get along?
Not from what I saw. No, from what I saw, they got along great. I'm trying to think of any shows that I worked on where folks didn't get along. I mean, certainly, you know, that's going to happen. Art is a very emotional thing, and it's a very creative thing, and so you're going to have people who just have different approaches and different perspectives and different ways of doing things. And so not everybody's going to be best friends. But from what I saw, they got along great.
All the tabloids, and my sister was crushed when I was at on set on something, and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, I did Castle. I was background for a long time." I'm like, "Oh well, cool." They're like, "Yeah, but they didn't get along. They hated each other." And then I read in the tabloid too, and I told my sister, I said, "Well, from what I heard, they didn't get along." So my sister stopped watching the show. I'm like, "No, don't stop watching it." Like I
get crazy.
Yeah, I'm still at this bottom level. I said, but there's people that I work with that I'm kind of like, if we have to be best friends, like, okay, let's try this. Like, let's go for it.
Right.
We'll do it.
Right. And everybody tries, but not, you know, the reality is not everybody's going to get along. But from my experience, they got along beautifully. So I'm sorry to hear that if it's true, I'm sorry to hear that degraded.
Because as much of a fan I am of yours, I really don't like you. So let's just start that rumor now.
Right. Right.
But the last couple of shows that you've been on that, of course, are some of my favorites, and people are going to be like, what? Grey's Anatomy and 911, which came back for a second season. So you're in the second season.
Which season am I? I think I'm in the second season.
No.
Am I in the first season? I can't remember.
I'm trying to think.
That's the funny thing about what we do is that, you know, we kind of train ourselves to give everything we can at the audition and then forget about it. And then when we get the job, we give everything we can on the day and then kind of forget about it because, you know, it's a pretty heartbreaking industry. It's a really, really hard industry. Because it's making business of art and making business of something that you're so emotionally tied to. it can be a really tough balancing act. So very often I kind of forget about what I did just out of a need to survive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I'm not even remotely. Can you hear me? Are you there? Did I lose you again? No. Hold on, folks. Don't hang up. Josh, are you there? There you are.
There you go.
I'm
Is
not
that
sure.
my signal or is that yours?
I'm not sure. You freeze. And
Oh yeah, you were freezing too.
was I?
Well, you know what? We'll keep going, and if things freeze up, then we'll keep coming back to it.
Okay. Yeah. The good thing that keeps recording. There have been interviews that I've done where I didn't hit the record button, and then I lost a whole hour of conversation, and they don't know that I don't have it. So oops, I think I just spoiled my secret. If you have not heard your episode, it's because I probably didn't record it.
Oh,
But ours is recording, so we're good because there's a lot of really good stuff here. All right. Well, we've talked about everybody else and we've done everything. So let's talk about you. So, say your last name again so I don't say it. Don't chop it off.
Daugherty.
Daugherty.
Just think of door A, door B, door C,
Or like
and door D.
or like dough, pizza dough, Daugherty.
Yeah, I like door D.
Daugherty.
Dougherty.
Daugherty. I have to.
Dougherty.
I'm going to have to practice my Irish a little bit. I'm a little off.
It's funny because when I went over there the first time, I was expecting to hear, Daugherty and Daugherty and all that sort of thing, and all I heard was Daugherty, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's Daugherty.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's not all that exciting, but I'll take it.
Well, it's kind of like Sherry O'Terry. O'Terry, that's not the way she pronounced her last name. But then when she went on Saturday Night Live, that's the way they said it the first time, and it just stayed. Yeah. So her Sherry, the way she pronounces it and the way people pronounce it is different. But
Really?
Since the announcer on Saturday Night Live, the first time she was on the show, said Sherry O'Terry because it rhymes, and it stuck. That's her professional pronunciation, which is not the way her family pronounces it.
Do you know how they pronounce it?
I do not because I'm not that Irish, but I will find out. I know there's a clip where I saw it, and I'll find it.
Oh, that's funny.
I'll post it on the Facebook page.
There you go. Perfect.
So, Josh, tell us how you put it together.
Put acting or
Your life, sir. How do you make it all work?
my life? That's a big question, man.
I
That's
know.
a really big.
I'm a deep show, dude. This is not.
Yeah, you are. Jeez. Well, gosh, I don't know. I really firmly believe. Here, I'm going to adjust this a little bit. There we go. I really firmly believe in being who we are. In each of us is given a different set of genes and a different set of skills and gifts. And we all have a different set of wounds and hurts and crosses that we bear, if you will. And I've just learned that I think we have to approach life from the perspective of I'm the only me on this planet, so I have to be as much me as possible, because if I try to be Daniel Garza, I'm going to do a terrible job because I'm not Daniel Garza. So it's taken me a while to really settle into that philosophy because I think, I grew up doubting myself in many ways, but I think we all grow up doubting ourselves. And so finally I kind of just started saying, fuck it, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and people are either going to like it or they're not. And that's okay. It's okay if they don't like it, because I read something once that was really really transformative for me, and it was a quote from Anthony Hopkins. And he said, "It's none of my business what other people think of me." And that was such a freeing realization for me that like, oh, wow, yeah, if somebody hates me, it's none of my business. That's all in their head. That's all for them. I don't have to know about that. It doesn't really affect me. It doesn't change who I am or who I want to be. So I need to just keep down my path and keep doing what I need to do. As long as I'm not being an asshole or hurting people or, or being selfish, self-absorbed, which is tough to not be as an actor, so that's kind of been it. I think we all have to learn to be more ourselves.
So, growing up, did you not know how to be you?
I think.
When did you find? Okay, this is Josh. I'll give you a quick example. Like for me, after cancer, is when I was like, I almost died during. I almost had a near death, and I was like, I don't have time to be concerned. I'm just going to go after my dream, regardless of what people think, or like the podcast. Like, what is it really doing for your career, or where is it really taking you? And I'm like, I don't care. I want to do it. I like talking to people. Right. It'll get me somewhere at some point. And wherever my life stops, the last episode I do, that's how far I was supposed to go. And that's okay. So, I mean, I don't want you to have to dig in and find some near-death experience, but at what point were you like, hey, I'm Josh and I'm pretty cool? Like,
well, I always had a lot of support in my family. I've got my formative years until I was 8. I was largely parented by my 2 older sisters, Debbie and Mary. Debbie's 9 years older than me, and Mary's 6 years older than me. And we were pretty poor, so my parents were working a lot and just trying to put food on the table. So I always had this, I don't know if it was a sense of confidence or if I think I just didn't know that I should be self-aware yet. And I was always so curious about life and kind of excited about things that I didn't really realize, I think until I got to school, probably junior high, that I should be self-aware and that I should doubt myself. And oddly enough, growing up in Oregon, so I at 13, I learned to surf in Oregon, and I fell in love with surfing. Absolutely fell in love with it. And that was kind of odd to be an hour and a half from the beach and yet be really, really high on surfing. So a lot of the kids that I went to school with used to give me shit for being a surfer and like really embracing that culture. So, on a Friday, I'd get kids going, "Oh, you going to go surfing this weekend, Daugherty? Huh? You going to go surfing?" And at first it was like, well, yeah, I am, because it's awesome. And then I started to kind of realize, oh, wait a minute, they're getting on me about this. Well, why would they get on me about this? So that's kind of when I started to become aware of, sorry, my AC just turned on. I hope that's not too loud. That's kind of when I started to become self-aware in a sort of negative way, I guess. But I eventually I was just like, this is what I love to do, and people are going to give me crap for it. That's on them. That's not on me. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty, for that age group, that's really like advanced thinking. Like, they're going to give me crap anyway. Like, I might as well just do it. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of like one of those where, like, if your parents keep dogging you for doing something you didn't do, I'm like, well, screw you. just going to do it anyway then. If I'm going to get in trouble for everything. That's because a lot of us stop. I was a dancer during school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I danced from grade school all the way to high school. And I used to get a little crap because they're like, oh, because I was captain of the dance group for a long time. And people would be like, oh, you have to go to rehearsal. I'm like, well, yeah, like I'm the captain. I kick ass. Like, what are you doing with your life?
I took dance as well, and I took ballet, and I took jazz. I always wanted to tap, and I'm bummed that I never did, because dance is such a beautiful, freeing thing, and I think it's so important for men to dance, because it's an understanding of your body. It can be a moving meditation. And what is martial art but a very deadly form of dance in a lot of ways. So I love that, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I wish I would have stuck with it. So good for you for true to yourself in that regard.
Yeah, I did Mexican folkloric dances in all through junior high. And let me tell you guys, talk about nice legs and butt. That was like... Dude, I'm not gonna on myself, but I was pretty hot during high school. And
I bet. My fiance is a professional dancer. She was an ice skater as well. And talk about legs and butt. Hello.
Yeah, I wish I could get some of that back, but it definitely it gave me. Well, first of all, it gives you the posture, because you have to have a good posture to dance. Right. But that comes a little bit of confidence. Because as you're walking in a room with other people, you seem to stand out for just being natural, because that's your natural thing. And people would always gravitate towards me. It's like, hey, we need somebody to be in charge of this. Like, you, come here, because you stand up. Yeah. And
your chest is out, your shoulders are back.
Yep. And it's so expressive too. Yeah. I was during junior high schools when I was coming out and finding myself, and I was gay. Well, I am gay. It didn't go away. I'm gay.
You had a gay this big, but you took some Excedrin and now it's gone, right?
Yeah, I ate some Raisin Bran and it went away. All of a sudden I was fishing somewhere. I was like, where did this happen? But I was trying to find my sexuality, but I didn't really fit into that side of the spectrum where I was very effeminate. I was still in my own skin. So dancing gave me a chance to feel my body and feel in touch and be manly, yet hold on to my sexuality. It's such a, so if you're watching this or listening to this, dance. That's all you can say.
Absolutely.
Dance.
And there's a hip hop artist from I believe he's from Brooklyn, Talib Kweli, and it's a great album. I can't remember the name of the album, but at the beginning of one of his songs, he quotes an old proverb, an African proverb that says, "If you can walk, you can dance. If you can talk, you can sing." And I think it's so important to find your physicality. I love to dance. I love to dance. And I love to sing as well, and to find your voice, because a voice is so important to who you are, that you know your voice, that you have a voice, that you're able to employ that voice, and that you know that your voice is worth listening to. You deserve to be heard. We all deserve to be heard. So finding that voice, finding your physicality, finding your dance, that's key. Good for you, Daniel. That's awesome.
Well, let's go back to you, because we're talking about me now. And I can talk about me too. So, I'm gonna speed up a little bit just through your school years. At what point does the acting bug kick in?
That was a very clear moment for me, actually. So my dad is a singer-songwriter.
Okay.
And in Eugene, Oregon, my hometown, there was a local production of, I believe it was Jesus Christ Superstar, the Andrew Lloyd Webber show. And my dad, being a rock and roll singer and a folky singer and all that, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to go audition for this." It was a really hot show at the time. This was probably about 1980, 79, 80, 81, somewhere in there. I was 5 years old. And my dad goes and I was 4, sorry, so it was probably 79. So my dad goes and auditions, and he gets the role of Pontius Pilate, because my dad's got a fantastic voice. So I spent a whole lot of time running around the stage, running around the theater with my dad, and becoming aware of what it was to sing on stage, and becoming aware of all these pretty girls. Oh my God. All these dancers, like that was the age of like big hair. We were kind of getting out of the disco and heading into the 80s. So it was just like big hair and makeup and, oh, beautiful, beautiful women. God, women were so gorgeous back then. And so it really like struck me that there was something different about these people. And, so I got to hang out a lot with him. The next production that same theater company did was, I believe, Oklahoma. And I said, I want to do this. I want to be on stage with you, Dad. So my dad talked to the director, Joe Zingo, and Joe, who I love Joe Zingo. Talk about an amazing dancer, an amazing director. A lot of my acting, I think, is due to Joe embracing me from an early age. So Joe said, "Yeah, let's give him a role." And he goes, "Josh, your character is going to be named Fred." So he's just making this up, right? Just embracing the enthusiasm of a 5-year-old kid. And he goes, "Your name's going to be Fred, and you're going to run out on stage, you're going to do this, and then you're going to run off." And I was like, awesome, I'm in. So during one of these rehearsals, I remember being on stage and looking out to an empty house and seeing all these seats that were empty in this giant room. And it was literally almost like God kind of tapped me on the shoulder and he went, "This is what you're going to do." And that moment was like, okay, I get it. This is what I'm going to do. So I knew from a very early age, I was 5, and I knew that this is what I was going to do, which was great because it allowed me to deviate here and there and study opera and then study jazz and then, study business and study advertising and study all these different things, but then come back to, I'm an actor. This is who I am. This is not just what I do. This is who I am. So I've been very fortunate in that I've known from a very early age what I was going to do. Yeah.
First, let me give you this. You're a great storyteller, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm picturing.
I enjoy sharing stories. I enjoy sharing what I know. I enjoy sharing the lessons that I've learned, and I enjoy encouraging people and building up, and I enjoy sharing myself. I guess that's what makes an artist is the desire to share oneself, be it through dance or painting or poetry or whatever.
You realize?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I usually say this at the end of the show, but you realize you're going to have to come back on the show.
Oh, I'm happy to. I'd love to.
Because we're not going to even get close to your whole story in the time we have left.
Yeah. Well, I think the Irish side of me is the talker. So you might have to go, all right, we got to move on.
Dude, and then I love to talk. And when again, a fan out woman, when I get somebody on the show that I'm genuinely a fan of and admire, and it's kind of like, oh my God, So
I know you get a Mexican and an Irish together, and we're
dude,
going to get about. It's going to be a long conversation.
damn. But as you were talking about that stage, I remember it took me back to kindergarten when they came in, and I went to school in Dallas, and they came in. They're like, "We need volunteers for the Cinco de Mayo," and I was like, "Me." They hadn't even finished. All they had to say was volunteer and celebration. I was like, "I'm in. Whatever you want."
Man, yeah, totally.
And my first dance was La Cucaracha, and I was hooked. That was it. I was on stage. People were watching me. People clapped. There was loud music. It was just like, what else do I need? This is life. Like this. Did your alarm go off?
My phone's ringing. Sorry, I didn't turn the sound down. I apologize.
No, I thought your timer went off. I'm like, no. We still have.
No. Sorry, my phone was ringing. I just had to look and see who it was and silence it.
I was about to see, like, who do I have to fire for this? Because we have 20 minutes left. Hold on a second.
No, forgive me.
But I hope people, as they were listening, people who are in any kind of business, not necessarily show business, as they were listening to that story, I hope they remember the first time that they found their passion, and because it's
right.
It's you never forget that moment.
Well, and it's so important to listen to that moment. When I was in high school, I really considered going into opera because Puccini to me, it was like, it's like the daytime television of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. You know, Italian opera is so dramatic and so beautiful and so over the top, and I really fell in love with opera. So in high school, I read Luciano Pavarotti's autobiography, and the thing that stuck with me most was this quote from him saying that the greatest sin is talent unexplored. Because when you think about it, you know, as I said before, we've all been given this gift. Sometimes it's a curse, but in every curse is a gift of our genetics, right? Daniel, you were given what you were given. You had no say in the matter. You were given the color of skin, the color of hair, the color of eyes, the manner of speech, the way you walk. Your genetics were handed down to you. You had no choice in the matter. You just got what you got. But it's up to us to dive into that and to understand what's really truly there. We can look at, you know, our hair, our skin, or our teeth, and our teeth are fucked up, or my one ear is bigger than the other, or whatever the situation is. And we can get stuck on that stuff. But the gold is what's really deeper inside. It's the wounds. It's the talents that we have. It's the artistic expression that we have. So it's really important that we dive into what floats our boat. You know, if you like needlepoint, man, fucking dig into needlepoint. Who cares what anybody else says? If that's something that you are passionate about, you are going to derive so much joy in life in doing needlepoint. I love to cook. You know what I love to do? I love to make pickles. I love making pickles. And part of that started because I have acid reflux, and I've had acid reflux since I was a kid in high school. And I got sick of taking medication. And then I realized, wait a minute, pickles actually chill out my acid reflux. So fuck it, I'm going to start making pickles. So I started making pickles, and I would have my buddies over. I'd be like, hey man, I want you to try this. And they'd try one of my pickles, and every person was like, Josh, this might be the best pickle I've ever had. And I was like, really? And they're like, no, I'm really serious. This pickle's amazing. So now I'm really excited to get settled into our house here in Atlanta so that I can start making pickles, because I fucking love making pickles. Right? I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Well,
So what do you got?
No, go ahead. Finish.
So whatever it is that you have an interest in, you owe it to yourself to dive into that stuff. You owe it to the people you love and the people that you share your life with to dive into that stuff, because if it makes you happy, it's going to make you a better person to be around. It's going to make the people around you happier because you're happy. So it really, when we have something that interests us, we need to explore it, because in large part we're doing it for the people around us, you know. Just a thought.
I could listen to you all day, man. This is awesome.
Thank you. Well, unfortunately, I can talk all day. It's a good thing I don't have a drink in my hands.
It's so funny because not even a week ago, I went grocery shopping and I came home with like 2 different jars of pickles.
Yeah.
And neither one of them was like, I was like, this is not what I want. For some reason, I've been having this pickle craving for like a month. And
really?
Yeah. And I keep buying pickles and not like, it's like, no, like, I don't know what flavor I'm looking for, but even pickles that I used to buy before, I'm like, no, that's not what I want.
Okay.
So I was, telling my boyfriend, and I'm like, there's this, I don't know, I've been craving a pickle and I can't,
okay.
Which for a gay man, I'm sure that line can have so many different meanings, but.
Well, I always love to, when I hand one of my pickles to a buddy, I always say, hey man, put my pickle in your mouth. And they're always like, oh, it's really funny, you know, so
and
you gotta make the
I would be like, oh, well, Josh, okay. All right. If I must.
It's a good thing I'm not in the steak business, because I'd be like, Daniel, put my meat in your mouth. Ha!
You realize that one line is going to be my phone ringer from now on. I'm going to put that on my phone, except.
Oh, God.
Anytime I get a text, it'll be Josh saying, Daniel, put my meat in your mouth. Just wait.
Your boyfriend's going to.
When I get to meet you in person and my phone gets a text, it'll be like, Daniel, put my meat in your mouth. Like,
oh, my God. Your boyfriend's going to absolutely hate me. That's hilarious.
Well,
That's hilarious.
He knows I've been doing this podcast now for 6 years and over 200 episodes.
6 years?
Yeah. I started in 2012.
Wow.
Yeah. So now I'm getting up to the higher level. So I'm like, I got Josh on the show. Like,
well, I am flattered that you considered me a higher level. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
I had Mary Pat Gleason on the show.
Daniel, hang on real quick. I'm going to move inside because my AC is super loud and I can't hear a thing. Hang on real quick.
Everybody hold on.
Oh, there we go. We're still settling into this house, so the place is a friggin' disaster. I'm battling with a garden hoe right now. Let me move in. We've still got stuff. So much.
There we go, guys. We have Josh. Josh giving us pickles, tasting his meat, and fighting with the hose.
Fighting with the hose. Oh, my God.
For those of you that are not watching this, please use your imagination.
Oh, my God.
So, because you'll have to go and watch the video to find out what his pickle, his meat, and his hose looks like.
Pickles. There you go. My interview with Josh Daugherty. Pickles, meat, and hose.
Hose. There you go. And
there we go.
And the imagination just went.
All right. Actually, I can hear you better.
And actually, on our end, we couldn't hear your air conditioning. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was only you. So.
Oh, wow. That's great. Because I've got 2 of them going out there because you need AC in Georgia.
I'm sure.
I was having a hard time hearing you, but now I'm indoors and it's cool and you can see my horrible backsplash.
No, that's
on the
beautiful.
house.
I love that. That's so classic.
Well, if you notice, there's so much shit right there. It's embarrassing. Actually, you can't see because it's too bright. But right where my finger's pointing, the previous owner had a different backsplash, and I will say this: I love interior design. So I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible, honey. We got to change this out. She's like, I kind of like it. I'm like, no, I'm ripping it out. We're putting in something different. Blah 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 blah. So. Anyway, yeah. So you get to see a little bit of my kitchen.
Awesome, thank you. I'm going to tell folks right now, there's no way we're going to get to the point in this conversation where we normally get on one of my shows, because there's so much about you. It's blowing my mind that one of the greatest things about doing a podcast for so long is I come in pretty open-minded. But I have this little view of what the person that I'm going to interview is about. And then as they open the door, it's just like, and for folks listening and for Josh, once somebody says, I will be on your show, I stop Googling, I stop looking, I don't dig anymore, because I want to be as surprised as the people listening. I want to go through that journey.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
I figured there's nothing, I want it to be authentic, that when you say ABC, I'm like, what? I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that. So, everybody's page starts with just one question. How do you put it together? And then we go from there.
I love it.
And everybody
That's a great start.
But we are almost at the, 45-minute mark. Actually, we passed the 45-minute mark. And
are we?
Yeah.
I left my phone inside, so my alarm. Hang on, let me grab my phone.
So he's going to grab his phone. While he does that, I want you guys to go check him out. Check out his page. Find out.
JoshDaugherty.net.
Say that again?
JoshDaugherty.net. You can also find me on Facebook at Josh Daugherty Actor. Instagram is Josh Daugherty Official. God, what else? I'm sure there's other shit out there too.
Yeah, Josh Daugherty. Now I'm gonna have to find the cute way to say it. I have Josh Daugherty on my phone. God, that was a really gay moment right there.
I love it. That's fine. I grew up around gay men, so you're not gonna, no need to be embarrassed.
So did I. How funny!
Hey!
I knew we had something in common more than just our looks.
Absolutely.
So part of the tradition of this show is to give out some words of wisdom to my listeners. So, Josh Daugherty, what words of wisdom can you share with my listeners?
I think I would probably just continue with what I was saying earlier, which is, be curious about life. One of the reasons I was happy to leave Los Angeles is because I think people have just gotten so jaded and so angry, and that is really the death of joy. And life is way too short to not spend it being joyful. I think we have to really feed and cultivate and protect our sense of wonder. We have to be excited about things. I've got friends who have kids in LA who are just not excited about things. And I just think, oh my God, what a miserable existence to not be excited about anything, to kind of be too cool for school. It's just no way to live. I heard somebody once talk, and I think it might have been somebody that I was working with on a project. They were talking about Jackie Chan and how he is just an adult child. He has this incredible sense of wonder, and he's interested in everything. They were shooting one of his many movies, and they went to like, all right, everybody back to ones. We're rolling. And where the hell is Jackie? Where is Jackie? Can somebody find Jackie? And they look over, and they were shooting on the street, and Jackie was not just talking with the street sweeper. but actually sweeping the street.
Wow.
Because he was just so into people, and he was so curious about people and curious about what people do and what made that guy tick. And does he like his job? Is he happy with his life? And I think the more curious we are and the more wonder we have for life, the more joy we're going to have in our lives. And yeah, you got one life, may as well be joyful about it, right? So dig into yourself. If you have a curiosity about something, dig into it, find out about it. It's your life. So dig in. Yeah, that's what I would say. And save your money. Dig in and save your money. Save your money. Save your money. Save your money.
That was awesome. I can listen to you forever. This is pretty awesome.
Good, because I got nothing going on today. So let's keep. No, I'm kidding.
I know I sound like I blow smoke up people's butts, but I only do that when they pay me. But
that's only during Pride Week, right?
Yeah, and it has to be a personal interview.
Of course, but got to be connection.
I even lost where I was going, but you do have such a wonderful way of storytelling. It's just really amazing. Like if I ever write my book, I want you to be the voice of the book. Like that's just.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
If I can afford you, but
I'm pretty cheap.
So I guess some rumors are true.
Oh man, you have no idea. You have no idea. They're probably all true.
But before we go, because we only got a couple of minutes before you have to leave, acting. Commercial versus film or TV. Do you get the same feeling out of it?
Yes and no. Obviously, in doing a film or a television show, the character has there's more depth, generally speaking. There's more time to tell the story of the character. Commercials I love because it's a 30-second short story. And it's really my job to find the nuance, find the humanity in this character. So if I can find that and really find a way of bringing that out simply in a character, like the one in the Raisin Bran Crunch commercial, that's a lot of fun, and it's incredibly gratifying. And to be able to show up on set and work with somebody like the little girl that I worked with who was 14 and just the sweetest kid. I mean, really just a great girl. And we had a lot of fun working together. I got to really take joy in meeting somebody new and working with somebody who was so grounded and so real and not Hollywood at all, thank God. So that's a lot of fun. To be able to, spend, say, 6 months working on a character, like with We Were Soldiers, that's a different experience. Those were long, hard days. The hottest day that we had on that was 118 degrees. So it has its difficulties. But at the end of the day, acting is acting is acting. And any day that I get an opportunity to act is a good day.
Awesome. I love that. So before we go, tell folks your latest project, which is on Amazon.
Custody Road. You can get it on iTunes, on Amazon. Hey, there's the alarm. iTunes, Amazon, Google Play. It's $10. Check it out. I'm so happy with this picture. We made it for virtually nothing. I won't go into the numbers, but I'll put it to you this way. The entire cast, when we got paid, we were so enthusiastic about the script and about the project and our incredible director, John Lacey, who also wrote the script, that we basically wrote our paychecks back to the production, because it was like, I don't need the money. I want to keep this thing going. I want to keep this picture going. So please check it out. I would really be honored. Custody Road. And if you love it, give it a great review. And if you don't, then forget you ever saw it.
Yeah. Well, it's gotten some great reviews from folks that watched it. I went over your page, and people are just, it's on my queue to watch. I haven't had a chance to sit down and actually watch it. Not only because my schedule gets crazy, and by the time I get home, I'm kind of like, I don't want to see it anymore. But
I wanted to sit down and watch a movie last night, and all of a sudden it was 2:00 in the morning, and I was like, I gotta go to bed. So I get it.
But maybe Mr. John Lacey will come on the show and talk about his project and his life.
I'm sure he will. He's in Europe right now, but he would be, I'm sure, more than happy. You're gonna love John. John and I became dear friends over the course of this shoot, and he is like a brother to me. I love that man. So I will definitely put you in touch with John Lacey, and
awesome.
I'm sure he'd be happy on. Yeah.
So
in fact, ask him when you get a chance. Ask John about the play that he did and the international attention that he got when he was doing Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. As a gay man, you'll appreciate it. It's a really beautiful thing.
Got it. It's in my notebook.
All right.
Before you go, could you remind everybody where they can find you and how to get a hold of you?
Yeah. Excuse me. Find me on Facebook, Josh Daugherty Actor. You can check out my website, joshdaugherty.net. You can find, I have a couple of Instagrams. One is Josh Daugherty Official, that is kind of more acting oriented. There's also my personal Instagram, which is Chosen Hippie, Hippie. That's a whole different story as to why I chose that name. But that's more kind of just my own personal expression of art and kind of just what's going on in my life. What else? Gosh, I think. Oh yeah, so Instagram, Josh Daugherty Official, and yeah, check out Custody Road.
We will post all the stuff on our Facebook page.
Awesome.
Don't go away. Let me just say goodbye to everybody. For everybody listening, thank you for listening. This has been clearly one of my favorite interviews in a long time. I want to thank Josh Daugherty for being on the show. For all of you listening, thank you to my producer, Mr. Kevin Moyers. Check us out at abnormalentertainment.com and find me on Facebook at Put It Together Podcast. For everybody listening, hey, this is Daniel Garza saying, hey, put it together.
This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together.
Subscribe to Put It Together on iTunes, Stitcher, and at abnormalentertainment.com/putittogether. Find Put It Together on Facebook and tweet Daniel at Lil Messican, LILMESICAN. And for more podcasts, comics, books, movies, and more, head to abnormalentertainment.com.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.